Are we rolling?
We are rolling.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I've been practicing.
See how it all fits. That's what's really
Well, that's all.
matters. Inside the C. Right. So, by the way, fingerings 3, 3. The inner voice 3, 2, 3. I hope you're doing that.
I had 2.
Oh gosh.
G. That's what Schenker gave me. I know. It.
Well, I mean, you could battle, I suppose. You know.
Yeah.
See, you've got to create the illusion that the C is actually crescendoing as you're holding it. How are you going to do that?
Yeah.
No, how are you going to, seriously, how are you going to do that?
Well, it'd be.
Because we
it'd be-
want.
Speaking
Right.
of the piano.
Right. Right.
It certainly does it here.
Well, the middle voices have to crescendo, but not crescendo over the C.
Right. What else? That's half
Left
of it.
hand.
Yeah, what else?
Maybe move forward a little bit.
Oh, good. Yeah, I didn't think of that one.
Oh, that's not it though.
No, that's fabulous. Okay, I like that.
Okay.
One more thing that would help.
Probably so blatantly obvious that I.
No, it's not so obvious.
That's not.
Don't feel bad.
Okay. No, I'm not sure.
What are you going to do with your pedal?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. You'd add more as you go along. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and
right.
I can't even begin to notate what I would do there.
No, right.
It's too subtle to notate. But,
Right. Right.
One too many G's there. Yeah. And then be surprised always, by the way, by the.
Yeah.
Yeah, so listen. A subtle, let's just say a subtle agogic accent,
Mhm.
maybe. Like the natural is moving you forward
Right.
rather than belonging. Like nothing happened. Yeah, hate it when that happens. There, and then put 2 thumbs here.
Yeah, and see, they
Yeah,
gave me
that-
the extra notes underneath of it.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me, yeah, see, you know what my copy had? A G to an A flat, and so I crossed it out.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Mm.
Oh, how interesting. I never noticed that discrepancy.
Yep.
Wow, well, how do you know that that's wrong?
I,
You trust Henley more than Schenker?
yeah, and also, I looked at one other,
But that's really fascinating. I never noticed that little discrepancy. Huh. I'm gonna mark your notes though in a light print. I've got to think about that. I wonder how that happened though. You suppose Schenker thought he was correcting it? I kind of prefer it without,
Right.
but I'm not sure if that's just because I got used to it or what.
Right.
What about in the recap? Of course, it does something so different there. No, you can't really tell.
No.
I was afraid of that. Well, I'll be.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just have to wait for Ian Hobson.
Okay.
See what his edition is. There's one coming out, supposedly he's doing.
Now the sforzandos after the piano, I guess I've been doing those too loud. I guess they need to be done more in the context of piano.
Maybe with just more tone. And definitely they're forward moving. They're
Right.
pedagogic. If anything, they're, let's move them. So.
Right, that's what I'm trying to, yeah. Yeah, I know.
That's a way to find out.
Right.
I mean, that's okay.
I kind of like, actually,
Or is it the other way around?
the other way around. Yeah. So that's coming up.
Just asking.
Yeah, that's what it's coming
Now,
up.
if you do it that way, is that going to dovetail with what you want in the right way?
It won't.
No? But that's not to say that you couldn't.
Right.
I do some fighting nature things like that now and then for deliberate reasons.
Yeah. But I don't like confrontation.
What is it? Oh yeah. Now, sure would have you think of 2, 1, but would pedal it that way as well.
Mhm.
I like the idea,
Mm-hmm.
but I do it in every way except with the pedal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only thing, the only wrinkle that's a little different. Right. I still do it,
Right.
but I still do Chopin's pedal.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
because it would be, of course, easier to just. And I'm not going to say that's wrong by any
Right.
means.
Right.
Because we don't know
Right.
if he simply didn't know how to notate syncopated pedal, and that's why we have that, or. However, on that one, the release marks aren't that terribly close to the next PED.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At least not consistently, like you find, say, in the Raindrop Prelude.
Right.
I'm a little more inclined to believe the syncopated possibility when he does that
Right.
than when the release is seemingly so consciously not that close.
Right.
So I guess for me, although I do more taper releases than maybe what's literally on the page.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the idea of still having it come from the bass with the pedal, but to the bass in inflection and timing in every other way, and with the melody and the whole thing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of those things in here too.
Yeah.
Or wrong notes, but
Yeah,
I'm doing I'm doing that same idea, but not necessarily with the pedal.
Yeah.
So here, I suppose it is possible, but it's, that it is that.
Yeah.
Now, I think, got a feeling, it's just a little more challenging.
Right.
Of the sforzando notes moving you forward.
Right. Right.
But now you did it the other way.
I did it the other way.
No, but that's fine too.
Right. Right.
I'm just getting your wheels turning.
Right.
Not to be a right-hand chauvinist pig.
Right.
And always be thinking only of what's going on there, because how you get what you want in the right hand may or may not be regulated. Well, it's going to be somewhat. but you don't have to. I mean, it's
No, it's much easier.
I think it is somehow.
Yeah.
And you might prevent some false accents and weirdnesses with this clunky thing here.
Exactly.
So. Not sledgehammers up there, like
Right.
like bells. Ping higher. Yeah, there you go. Every note. Can you avoid this?
Yeah.
Whatever you do though in the left hand, make sure it's subtle and get the lengths orchestral. Very much the same length, maybe the very last one here longer, but avoid sort of erratic lengths.
Yeah, right.
You know, you got to be very, think from the hand here. Whatever inflection, this is something separate.
Right.
It's going to be the same with this, with respect to this, regardless of whether you do.
Right.
Or, let's see. Right. Still. Very, if you think. And you know, somebody could very well come along and say, look, maybe I don't want either of those. Just boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Very simple, very simple, very simple.
Yeah.
You know, just the
Right.
same, and just keep it like. I mean, I'm not sure that an orchestra perhaps would do either.
Right.
Maybe that's the hardest thing. Maybe that's what we really do want. I don't know.
Yeah.
There you go. Think about it.
Yep.
Okay, think about it. All right, let's go on.
Okay.
So a little bit fatter on this. Fatter, but not accented. Because there's no staccato.
No
on that
staccato.
one. You know, you bring up an interesting point the way you just did that. Is it or is it or is it neither and just a continuous crescendo?
I kind of like the continuous crescendo, but
Well, I mean, what's the case you could make for this? But making each one progressively more. So, what's be devil's advocate? Whether you like it or not, what would be the case for doing that?
dissonance.
Well, sure. I mean, look, this is exactly the kind of thing that you would often slur, two-note slurs, wouldn't you?
Da-
You know,
ba-
Magitura, you know,
Right.
over a pedal point.
Right.
You know? So, like you said, dissonance resolution.
Right.
It's pretty cliche almost. Matter of fact, if they had been slurred,
That's what I was going to
they
say.
wouldn't even hesitate.
That would be also a good reason to do the other way, because the other, would be so cliche.
Well,
Maybe.
yeah, I mean, if he wanted that, he would have put accents and slurs if he really wanted
Right,
it,
right.
a whole lot. You know?
Or no, they're not coming out even though.
Because, you know, you're trying to do too much down here. I get no control if I do this. Look at me.
Okay.
You know, now, can you get it from here? Watch me. Don't push in, you know, each one like this. Just down. Just down. Simple, down. Fix this a little bit, and make it come from back here.
Nope. actually I have a slightly different fingering from what I'm doing here, but a slightly different fingering written in here.
Well, I'm doing 2-5-1-4, 2-4-1-5, 2-5-1-4.
And see, that's why I've written down that that's not what I did.
I know, you have, well, it's all right. I like what you did too.
Is that, did I do a 1?
Yeah, 1-3. Well, you know, it's up to you. They both work.
Well, I need to do the same thing.
Well, I don't know if you can. I mean, this is that's different for me. Thumb, 3-4, 4-3, 4-3. 4-3. Yeah, that's what I do, but only because I have big fingers. But then so do you. Now look. Look at me. You're keeping this stationary, and you're doing it all down here with all your wrist and fingers. Look. You're doing this. I don't get control this way.
Right.
Can you keep this as one unit? Don't bend your wrist. Don't bend your wrist. There you go. Yeah. Can you feel how you get control that way? Well,
No.
stay close. I mean, aim.
I mean, I can see the point,
See what I'm doing?
yes, but I don't know. I'm
No,
having a
just
hard
don't
time.
bend this. Don't bend your wrist.
Okay.
Crispy, but get the crispy from bouncing back here with the whole arm.
But now I'm still using too many fingers.
Well, it's not that it's bad. What happens when you do it, I mean, I don't want to say that it would never work for anybody.
Right.
I'm kind of intrigued by it, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But you tend to tickle a little bit. And you get this sound that is never quite sure what you really want.
Right.
Now, that's not to say that what I'm doing is all...
Right.
The last thing I want to do is this to you. Get you all nice and stiffed up here. That's not what I mean either. I'm using fairly, it's getting sound heretical, but fairly straight fingers for this passage. I don't know why. I know why. I just figured it out. I want a little more surface area, and it gives me a little more security. Now, there's some fingers involved, you know, but it's... Why? You're up here, you're just dangling down like that. Yeah.
Oh, that feels so much better.
Yeah, doesn't it? Bouncing. Oh, you got 4-4?
No, I just was thinking and so I messed my finger.
Wrist lower and don't bend it. And get it from back here. But look, in the end, you got to do what works.
Well,
But what works musically.
but see, this doesn't feel comfortable. This has never felt comfortable. When I've been practicing this piece,
I mean, I have high wrist for any number of things.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't want to make a rule out of this.
No,
There's
but-
context here.
But there's, I've been no matter how much I practice, it's still, the faster I get, the more I can't hit them.
Yeah.
I can't hit them, and I didn't know why. I couldn't figure any of this out, and I mean, it's just.
Is it beginning to make a little?
Oh yeah,
little sense? Yeah.
When I
It
finally
may
got
also
it down,
be sometimes how you're pointing at a certain point.
Uh-huh.
The higher up you go, the more likely you need to point a little more this way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But not always. Again, there are exceptions.
Yeah.
You see how it's coming from back here?
Oh, yeah.
There's a minimum of this, because I just find I can't get control this way. I don't know, maybe I don't want to play devil's advocate here. I want to see what happens if I try your approach. I don't like this. Somehow I don't get.
It's just it's nonchalant. It's
Yeah,
just,
it doesn't sound like I've got fire in my gut.
Right.
It's like I'm on a Sunday afternoon picnic.
Yeah.
And I guess the staccato lengths need to have a little bit more iron. You know, they're not quite for me.
Right.
You know,
Right.
this sort of sound rather than tickle, tickle, tickle. You know, it's a different. I'm not trying to make fun of you.
No, I know you're not.
So I'm tending to play. This is very Horowitz, and I always make this thing about his low wrist being so, you know. But I guess there's a time and a place, huh? For everything. But it seems like a low wrist, less bouncing up and down, just seems to work for this context.
I see. I raise up here because I'm going up.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the other thing. If you really want that continuous line, rather than a sense of that appoggiatura two-note gesture, then you have to move in that way. Now, what you're doing, without realizing, as watching your hand, is you're gesturing two-note gestures somewhat. If that's the sound you want, so you might get. I might move in that direction. But if you're a motion for every single one,
Right.
your motions differ because you're. And this is ironic, because what am I trying to do in so many other pieces? Get you more gesture.
Right.
But you see how everything is context.
Right.
Now here, if you want, then just do this with, look, let's do this. Yeah? Never mind whatever fingers, just move your hand. It's the same mode, you know. Get it from back here. Don't flop your wrist so much. Now, you know, you can hear it on the wood.
Right.
Now, if you wanted,
No.
then you do a different kind of.
But see, I've been
Series of
feeling like
motions.
I haven't had the line there, and I didn't know why. But that's why.
Even if I decided, that's a good. Even if I did decide to do that hint of the appoggiatura, I would not want it to detract from the long line. It would have to be, to me, anyways, very subtle. Interesting that he does finally do that, but does that bolster the case to do it earlier or not to do it earlier?
No, not to do it.
You think, to make it more surprising?
Not to do it, to make it more surprising.
Okay, well, I mean, you could look at it either way, but all right.
Yeah, no, that's.
Then you got to do what's convincing to you, not, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I felt that every time I got to the sforzandos, then they had nothing.
Schindler, it seems to me, I recall something about him mentioning that Beethoven really did have a predilection for bringing out those minor seconds, those appoggiatura kinds of things. But then, you know, was he hearing it simply where it's marked or all over the place or what? I mean,
Right.
and his accounts are a little bit questionable anyway.
Right.
But, I mean, do we do that there too? You know, I mean, I don't know. You know, that's a little much. How about we move on to that section? Let me see this transition again. Let me see. Don't swallow.
What did I do? Yeah, right.
Now, that's a vocal thing, you know.
Right.
You accompany enough vocalists, you know.
I know that, right.
You know, you're already thinking of the next thing. You complete your thought, and then you go. But you know, you don't want to be when you get to here already so thinking of this that you don't spell out the last note there.
Right.
It might help to put 1 and then put 3/2. It's not that this is bad, but look, I'm bumping into myself.
Well, see, that's exactly.
Yeah, you're bumping into yourself. So 3-2 I would put. The first one may be 1, if you like, and then change to 3-2. Then here, make sure you got 2 instruments. Somebody's playing this and the other person. By the way, this is not slurred.
Right.
So it's not staccato though either. Simple, simple. Control the lengths. I like them still a little fatter if you can get it.
Sure. I mean, actually,
It
yeah.
makes a nice contrast with this.
Right.
Nice, 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 nice. Okay, let's put it together now from there. How dry I am. Okay, wait. I think a little more like a vocalist. Now, I have to be fair, though. Kenneth Drake, whom I have tremendous amount of respect for, you know, likes those before the beat. So if you want to play them as a pianist, you'll be in very, very good company.
Right.
However,
But.
and here's another thought before I go on. It's going to happen twice, so you could certainly do it one way one time and one way if you really want to make life interesting.
Right,
But
right.
I have a slight preference, Kenneth Drake notwithstanding. I don't think he really backs that up with anything absolutely rock solid, though, for evidence, other than he prefers. On the other hand, he certainly has done an amazing amount of research on Beethoven, so it's not something you just reject too easily. But I still slightly prefer them on the beat, like a vocalist might do, and not quite so snapped.
Right.
So, but still, the sforzando where it belongs.
Right. Yeah.
However, I realize that may be a minority opinion, you know. No, I wouldn't fail you for doing it the other way by any means. It comes down to, do you hear it as a piano ornament or a vocal ornament?
Right.
You know, it's hard to say. I mean, you certainly could. Or maybe, oh, here's a thought. How about? And then back to. For that. In other words, and then particularly, see, I guess the ones where I really feel strongly, personally, that they're on the beat.
Right. Definitely.
But that's a very, like I say, that's very subjective. You know, the idea of doing Schindler's fortes and pianos alternating, tying in with this, really works for the second time.
Yeah.
So in a way, I don't care what you do the first time. It may even be better and more interesting to do it as a piano ornament. I'm just pointing out the controversy.
Oh, yeah. See that?
Now see, okay, I got a note to myself here that Czerny. Oh, wait a minute, this has to do with the trill. Hold on, wait a minute. Oh, this may interest you. Czerny says they were done before the beat. Well, Arthur Rubinstein should feel pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. Would you believe Czerny says that that's the way to do it? Now, that's a shocker. I wrote that down and kind of forgot about it the last time we talked about it.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that seems to go contrary to so-called performance practice.
Yeah.
But then Newman disagrees. He
Oh.
puts it on the B. You don't happen to have volume 2 of the sonatas with you?
Not with me.
Oh, that's okay. Well, compare, when you have a moment, just jot this down. Opus 31, number 2, third movement, measure 43.
31, number 2, third movement.
Measure 43. Just compare that and
Okay.
see if that gives you any insight.
To these grace notes?
No, but to the trills. But you see, again, I think you can have your cake and eat it too. It comes enough times. Now let's see, if we're going to make the second time the more dynamic and climactic, because, and I think it just intrinsically is, because you got that happening when you didn't get it the
Right.
first time,
Right.
then maybe that's where we could have a snappier way before the beat. How could we have every single way somewhere, huh? That's what I love. Let's see. Also, I make that the most pedagogic, you know? I'm not used to doing it that way.
Yeah, that's good.
But that's an interesting thought. And then let's see, the first time, if we did it before the Now, a real minority opinion, by the way, is to do those Baroque. No, that seems to be gaining trendy ground these days, but let's see. I'm just trying to figure out if there's a way we could do all three flavors. See, now Rosenblum, Sandra Rosenblum makes the point that she's of a mind that you start the trill from above, more likely in Beethoven, if that'll give you a juicier dissonance. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, though, if you look here,
Right.
that's already the dissonant.
That's right.
Is the G flat.
Right.
So by that very rule,
Yeah,
I would say this is going to give you less dissonance.
Right. Right. Right.
Right? Now, is there a place, though, and I don't know this, where that might be the other way around?
Maybe the next one. No, I mean, oh, yeah. Well, look on the second page.
Well, I have different pages.
Okay,
Give me
that's
measure
okay.
numbers. You got measure numbers?
Major 56. Now, major 56.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where we were.
Okay, but okay, it wouldn't be as dissonant here, but it would be more dissonant to start above
okay.
here.
Ooh, now you're really intriguing me. Let's see. So you want to alternate? Woo! Well, if you can keep that all sorted out, go for it. I think you might make history with that.
Yeah.
That never even crossed my mind to alternate them suddenly like that. Wait a minute, that's wild. Hey, be the first one.
Yeah, there we go.
We got enough recordings of this, huh? Maybe Sandra Rosenblum will be
Yeah.
quite happy.
Yeah.
I'd love to ask her about that. I got her phone number, I should call her, ask her what she thinks. That's too funny. See, you know, apropos of this, you know,
Right,
what does he do later?
right,
And I do that
right,
at that point.
right.
By the way. Which I think bolsters your argument, though, to keep it a little straighter,
Yeah.
so that this is more.
Right, right. Seems to me like the places that he has slurred like that are usually, well, that, I mean, that's, well, I don't know the word.
He
so
does
I
know
guess.
how to make the most out of a half step, doesn't he?
Right.
He just has this thing about a half step.
You're right.
No, I'm sorry. Well,
No, that's okay. I mean, I really can't find the words. That part, of course, it's, I don't know what words I'm trying to find. You know how, I can't even find a word to express it. So
Well, you know, I getting back to that trill business though, wouldn't it be wild if we did that, you know, through that whole section?
Mhm.
But then the next time we'll do it before the beat. See, this will drive all those pedantic types and all those musicologists and performance they'll drive them all nuts.
Oh yeah.
Of course, you run the risk of being Clinton, you know, by being compromising, you wind up taking off everybody instead of pleasing anybody.
Exactly.
Realize the peril involved.
Yes, exactly.
Politically, yeah. Well, anyway, seriously though, that's all up to you. Is
Yeah.
this now
Yeah.
to go on the other?
Yep.
Okay,
So.
I can do this.
Yep.
There you go. All right, well, how about we get, you need to mull it over, but I really want to hear the left hand well controlled and voiced always with the whole notes a bit more. That takes just by itself immense concentration.
Right.
And then when you get to, that takes immense control.
Oh yeah.
Because I want to hear. Oh, you're cruel.
4, 5.
Cruel. How about 5/5?
5. Of course.
And then 4. In order to get the 4 to sound, make a little bit of a snappy motion. Watch me. I'm like this. I'm in, and I come out. No. It's so determined to curve your fingers everywhere.
I know.
God, it's such a deadly habit. You know, you almost make me want to change my mind about even saying that as a general beginning method for everybody that's good, and I shouldn't say that because I suppose it is. But now look. Okay, I'm like this, in and curved, just like you on 5 and B. Be natural, please. Okay, now look at me. All right, now watch. Come, stand up and look at what I'm doing. Flat, absolutely flat. Yeah, see, you can't help but get sound.
Right.
See, the problem is not because the 4th finger is weak per se.
Right.
It's because you're all sort of trapped inside and your motion is so small and you're trying to press it and you're stuck in this very little corner of space.
Right.
Now you're getting it.
Yeah.
So 5, slide 5, and then 4. The 5, slide 5, I stole from Chopin. No, I mean, he didn't write it in per se right here, but it's his kind of
thing.
His kind of thing. Don't do the motion and then play. It's part of you making your motion to get that sound. Drop. Otherwise, you're all cramped. Which note gets skewed?
The B natural. Ah, yeah.
Isn't it a curse to develop an ear? It's better.
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah.
I told you that. I mean, it's those little things separate the men from the boys.
Oh
here.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, because and that's all, of course, just half the issue. The right hand.
Right.
Okay, now let's do this part. And I want to hear how you can't make to me quiet enough. And then watch my finger. Now this is a classic. Remember when we did this to show how we get more tone? At least one method of doing it. When you hit both knees at the same time. And usually when I have students do this, they'll lift higher for the one that wants more sound. Right? So now watch. This is a good example of it. It looks like a pigeon, bird fluttering, flapping the wings. Now, let's do a little experiment. Play the notes that are in eighth notes solidly like this, and just hold them for a minute. Okay, and I want you to do this. That's exactly what I want. Now do this for me. I want you to do the fluttering and as quietly as possible. Just that.
So should I be using 3 or 2? No.
2-1 in the left hand. 2-1 in both hands.
2.
And then use 3 on the E flat in the left hand, because you have a big hand like me.
Yeah.
No, 1, 2.
No, I know. I was just seeing what I was trying to find out where they came up
You don't
with
care
3
what
there.
drunken hand they want. Yeah, okay. Now, let's try this now. Let's go back and forth. Hold on. Solid. This is too much. Let's go back and forth. Close. Distance. Close. Now let's do it real slow. It's like a little exercise, just that much.
Oh,
I wasn't playing what's written per se. Back and forth. A little exercise. Yes. Now, tell me what you think. Should I be using finger pedal on the eighth notes or not? Do you like this? Or should I be
You know what I was doing?
I'm
No,
not
you know what
looking
I
for a
was-
preconceived
No, but you know what I was
right
doing?
answer,
You know what
do
I was
you think?
doing? I was actually using a tiny bit of pedal so that way I could do
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay.
like
That's
the
that's
beginning,
a somewhat separate issue, but then again, not.
like trying to do what we're doing
Alright.
here.
Okay.
So, but I was let's see.
Yeah, but you really think it should be that way the second time? Considering where the line's gonna go? Wait, let me hear everything here.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I want to still hear the staccatoed one, which
Okay.
really isn't staccato, more like. Well, I think so. You can't just.
Okay.
You know.
I am actually
Up to a
doing
point?
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, go ahead. To fulfill it. Yeah.
I don't know if it could be because of my technique that I'm doing this. I chose, instead of doing like this, I chose to do 2-3. Yeah. It. Again, it came out uneven.
Really?
It was,
one,
yeah.
two, five?
Yeah, because I don't have
Turn your hand more this way. Try it.
it. For some reason,
How about if you put 4 and 5 on the top?
it
No,
feels
doesn't
so
work?
uncomfortable.
Okay.
But I mean, what am I doing?
I mean, I could do it your way.
But what am I doing that why I can't? See, because what happens is I get.
Got a big hand, that's why.
Oh, okay.
Don't shrink. Hey, take up smoke.
You-
No, I'm kidding.
Would it be because of my big hand?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that somewhat. But maybe it's where you're playing the 5th finger. Look at what I did.
Yeah, you brought it out.
It's way out here.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
Ta-da!
Okay.
Now, see, when I told you to turn your hand, that was the reason.
Right. I just didn't turn it enough.
You didn't.
Right.
You missed why.
Right,
You know,
right.
It's just so that where you're aiming
Right.
is more around here on that first part of the, instead of getting locked. Yeah, sure.
Right.
All
Right.
kinds of things here. There's going to be all kinds of fun. Yeah, and you know, yes, it's good. Look at me to get some of this motion, but not so much that you're slobbering. You got to be aiming too. Very exact. 1, 2, 2. Accent the rest. I like that. Accent the rest. 2, 1, 2.
Oh, definitely.
Weird concept, huh?
Yeah.
Accent the rest.
Accent the rest. I understand it.
Yeah, well, you've been studying with me too long
Yeah.
already. If you understand such things. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so and then you need. 1, 2. That's so Beethoven. There's a sudden change. Sudden change of mood. You know?
Right.
1, 2. Did I give you a weird fingering for that? Oh, I didn't. Oh, I did.
I think so.
Oh, I did. You're just not doing it. I see. Strangle.
I learned it wrong. I learned it wrong. I learned it a different way before I got the fingering,
Now
and
look,
so I'm getting used to doing
the
it.
reason partly for the fingering, though, look at me. A whole series of circles. Let's do one at a time. Watch me now for a second. Come around on this part, you with me? Look at where I am. You're so up here, always curved. Look at me. It's the bottom part of the circle. Okay, now don't make this whole motion and use up your whole bow, because I have plans for that. Don't get
Okay.
ahead of me. Now watch. Do this part. Doesn't it feel good? Yeah. And then we have another circle now, the bottom part.
get used to it.
I know, I know. Look at me. This part. It's like this. Yeah.
See now.
You're so
if-
afraid to let a finger go flat for even a half a second.
Yeah, but even see if I get here, then my
So
third is my third isn't flat.
No, it'll be different by the time you get there. Because then on the way back you're going to have to make the other part of your string. Yes.
See, I guess I'm afraid to let go of the notes. If my second finger's here, I think I'm analyzing what I'm doing. I think by the time I get to my third, I can't let go of that second, even though it's not playing, I can't let go of it off of that note.
Yeah.
And so thus, these end up being cramped. And so I get into the style of doing this.
This is what I'm trying to break you out.
Yeah, and see, I'm just figuring that out now. I'm finally figuring that out.
Yeah. Well, but you know, now watch. When I do the whole choreography of this, how just wonderful it feels. Well, by the way, that's probably more like 5/4 at the same time, slide 3.
Okay.
No idea. You're going to notate that. I wrote it a certain way. All right. And even the thumb on the downbeat, I have a quick slide 2 so that I don't clip it too much. Did you catch it? And then 4 slide 5. I mean 4 5 at the same time. 3 it's that I want the slightest bit of emphasis on it. Something strong.
Right.
Now, is it?
That's why I like it.
I don't know. What I have in my music here. I know I marked something here that I kind of like there. Or is it neither? Now see what I had? Check this out. On this one. I had 2 and 3 at the same time. 1 and 2, 3. Oh, for some reason I like. Let's see. Fade in, pedal to there. But could it Oh, that's where I got the other way. Check the Schnabel.
Schnabel. Okay.
That's where I got it. Oh well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or is it neither? I mean, is it? I'll tell you one thing. That kind of finger you never miss.
Oh yeah.
And you got that huge hand. That kind of fingering would suit. Wouldn't do it with everybody.
3, 2.
Yeah, get a little closer to the key before you whack it. I guess the reason I'm intrigued by both of those ways is just to avoid predictability in the pedaling.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, just. That or the other would be more interesting to me. But I'm weird.
Oh.
Shall we do the next movement? I'd love to hear, because a lot of the same kinds of things are going to come up there.
Okay. Okay.
And I gave you the finger again. Did I give you those fingerings?
Yes.
Oh, good, okay. Yeah, those are pretty important.
Yep.
And again, work it out, figure it out. There are a whole bunch of little swirls and circles.
Right.
All right? Think about that. It's very therapeutic.
Oh yeah.
Choreographs nicely. Okay,
Okay.
next movement. Oh yeah. Well, this whole business of slurs was addressed in this. You've got to read this article at Piano and Keyboard. Ken Johansson. I think this. Well, he takes issue with say Malcolm Bilson and Sandra Rosenblum. I don't know if to some extent his points, which are very good, aren't a little bit attacking red herrings, though, a bit. I think a lot of these controversies are, you set up your opponent
Right.
as staking out a very extreme, one-dimensional opinion, then you proceed to thrash it.
Right.
And I'm not entirely convinced that either Sandra Rosenblum or Malcolm Bilson are quite so set in the way that he paints them.
Right.
But anyway, the issue is, are these slurs, well, one of the points that's made is very interesting, is that the treatises that talk about all these kinds of issues usually come after the point, after the practice. You've got the practice, then the treatise supposedly explains and says how they did it.
Yeah.
If you think about the ramifications of that, they're not meant to be rule books. They're not meant to restrict you and lock you into one way necessarily. That wasn't as much as the way we're reading them now.
Right.
So are these slurs string bowings, which I think is more what he feels that they are, or are they meant to be taken a tad more literally with actual breaks?
Right.
Makes an interesting point, though, when you get to here, measure 5. At least it's debatable or arguable that the break in the slur between the F and the B flat has not so much to do, in his mind, with a breath or it being new or accented or any of these things necessarily, but simply the fact that you can't connect that anyway. I mean, you can't connect the F to the B flat in any case.
Right, exactly.
Because of what's happening in the viola.
Yeah,
so. I mean, you pretty much have to do a little, of course, I shouldn't say that because I can get it wrong. what should this have done?
Right.
Yeah. So, see, I don't know if all of that isn't kind of beside the issue for me, because, I mean, his point about this would make me believe that you're picking up the level of sound you left off here when you get here.
Right.
So, well, no, I think his point is, yeah, I think I understand where he's coming from. What he wants to avoid really is,
Or
because this is hanging in the air and it's waiting really to resolve to here.
right.
It's interesting. I mean, he's got a way of looking at things that's very Leonard Shore and Shankarian and all
Right,
that.
right.
I
Well,
enjoyed the article.
And not only that, if it was written differently, wouldn't it almost come out? You know, the tendency would then be to come down on those lower notes.
Yeah, too much perhaps.
That's what I'm saying, too much. So
Yeah.
and that might have been the.
Well,
So
yeah.
instead, they wrote it this way, so that way it would.
Enough to carry it forward, and yet not so much that you lose this.
Right.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Why it might be written
Yeah,
that way.
yeah, oh, yeah. Well, it's been vexing people for all time, though, just why these slurs seem so bizarre.
Right. Right. Right.
There was a point of voice leading he made that I can't find anymore now. Well, I think it's an obvious one here. Where's the A going to? Interesting resolution, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and yet, if you think just melodically for a minute, interesting. Now, wait a minute. Okay, the A natural, where's it really resolving in the right hand? Now, here's a thought. I'll have to read that article again, if he made this point or not. But maybe the reason why the D flat isn't starting a slur, but rather ending a slur, is because Beethoven wants you to have this in the air as a little bit more than this, so that
Right. Exactly.
interesting. Well, I would certainly agree that in this kind of context, to make glaring, I don't think we were doing this anyway. But you see, I mean, I don't think either Sandra Rosenblum or Bilson would do that either.
No, they
You see, I
wouldn't.
mean, I just feel like these guys get into these big, gigantic mud wrestling arguments over splitting hairs. You know, I just don't think that. Well, you know what I mean,
Right.
and then, well, Bilson can be awfully abrasive too. So they get I don't know. But anyway, it's all very interesting reading. Well, let's hear what you've done on it.
Okay. I've been doing most of my work with the first movement, but so I don't even have fingerings written in here yet.
Ouch! I thought we did that. Did we not write in fingerings at all?
Actually, not at our last lesson, no.
Okay. Well, let's see. How are you going to start the right hand to get good juicy tone on this? Hint, hint, hint. Let's just do one hand at a time. What do you think? What are you doing?
I just trying three, but
Okay. Well, okay, Shaker has 5, right?
yeah, I don't know. Maybe 3, switch to 4.
How about something we did in the first movement?
Oh, slide.
Now, what did you do in the very first chord?
The 3 and 4 at the same time.
No, did you do that? Play the first chord. Uh-huh.
4 and 5. So it feels good too. Good.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 and 5 at the same time. Okay. With 2 in the inner voice instead of 3, like so
Right.
many people would do.
Right.
You'll get much better control with 2.
Right.
Yeah. And then 3, not 4. Yeah. See, why slide to it?
Right. Right.
See, I think it's partly, if you feel like you've got to point your hand in a particular way, then you may, and you've got a smaller hand, then you might do Schenker's fingers.
Right.
But you've got a big hand, and if you just simply pointed it slightly differently than what the orthodox way might be,
Right.
it's a little unnatural, but it sure gives you a lot of tone. So yeah, I would put 3 here. Yes! Bravo! Yeah, you have the hands like that.
Yeah.
That's the organist.
Thank you. Thanks.
The organist comes up. Do you want the 4 that he has? Yeah, you have the fingers to do that. I do it, and I think you can. Like I say, you
Yeah.
teach, don't necessarily do these.
Yeah. All right.
With some small-handed students.
Right. Right.
Okay, now here I'm gonna give you the benefit.
Okay.
I shouldn't do this.
Of your
but
pain.
I won't give you all of such things.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you think about, some
Right.
other context, but, all right, I do something a little strange here. 2, 1. And then I'm gonna grab these 3 notes in
Yes.
the left hand. And in left hand, in order to do that, is gonna be 1 slide, 3 quick slide. Organist, you'll love this.
Mm-hmm.
2, 1, 2. But you'll get wonderful tone on this B flat. And then you see, you won't have to do 3, 3. I mean, that's kind of weird.
Right.
What does Schenker expect you to do here? I guess, but it really isn't connected, is it?
Right.
Is it? So,
No.
actually, you know what? Yeah. 1, 3, 4. And then, you'll love this.
Yeah.
All right. Wouldn't that have made a good organist?
Yeah.
Actually, I will.
Yeah. Yeah. You were.
Five.
You'll learn how to
Yeah,
do that
wait a
with your feet.
5. Yeah, right. Well, I was always terrible at the feet.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped. 2, 1. Yeah, you follow this?
Mm.
Yeah, 4 slide 5, and then thumb, would you believe? Thumb, 4. Got it. Try all that now.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. Actually, yes.
That's just good. We'll go back. We'll go back to here. Slight separation with your fingers, but it'll hardly be heard.
Okay.
Don't connect F to B flat. Now then you can finesse it with dibbles of pedal, perhaps.
Okay.
So I'm going to split the difference between these guys who are arguing to make the break and those who are
Right.
not.
Right.
On a concert stage, and even in this acoustic, when this tape comes out, I have a feeling
Can't.
you're going to barely hear it. But the real reason for it, for me, is that it will make you give a little bit of a slight emphasis on that first note of the slur by having to lift at the end of the previous.
Right. Right.
That's the main reason for it. If you stay absolutely,
Right.
doesn't mean it's a big deal though. C here. 2, 1, 2. Don't you love it? No.
Well, I was wondering if I could get this staccato and these not.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Interesting point. Because the notation in this edition has it all in.
Right, I see.
I don't know, but that's a real interesting point. I had not thought of that. Is the portato in the inner voice or not? Let's see what Henry has.
See, because then you have this. If this is staccato, you'd have to make this
You may
staccato
have a
too.
point. You may have a point there. I've always been taking both of those in the right hand. No, it's your call.
Okay.
If you believe in it strongly enough, then you'll have to fight for that sound.
Right.
You can't do my fingers.
Right.
Yeah, let's see. Let me see. You're,
Of course, with
you're
these
a
have to be-
violist. You're a violist.
These
Let's
have to
see.
be lifted. They're
How much is the violist going to knock himself out? Let's see.
And maybe they weren't put there because
Would it be
they're
that
repeated.
or
I'm sorry, maybe they weren't put there, Beethoven didn't put them there because he assumed, well, because it's a repeated note.
I mean, you really have to work hard to not get those naturally portato. Good point.
Yeah.
All right, so did they really in those days have that much sophistication in their technique? Well, they may have, I don't know, but to do it's an interesting thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I guess for me, I would have been doing. But I do make these. Wouldn't you love to know which ones are dots and which ones are wedgies? Right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think your instincts, I mean, look, who would want to do, in context of adagio, would you really want to do that? You know?
No.
So,
Yeah.
so, take that little idea, and you might apply it in a few other places.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoon feed all of those.
That's
I just
okay,
thought I'd
that's
give you
okay.
one little nugget there to chew on.
That's okay. I appreciate
All right.
that.
Okay. What about the last one there? Did you have any time with that? Since last time?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Well, maybe
Not enough to-
we'll hold off then
Okay.
on this for a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you're working on the Polonaise.
Yes.
Let's do that. Oops, wait a minute. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Well, this should be interesting, because you have the nickel and I have the Henry. Okay. Okay. Is it the fingering?
Yes. No, it's not. It's just getting my actually that's
Just compare what you're doing for fingerings, just out of curiosity.
actually here. I have this.
I know, I see. It's not
Well, I'm not doing what they're doing.
bad. What are you doing?
3-2.
And it leaves you at the end of 4 on the back here rather than 5.
Right.
It's weak.
Because I've been.
And then for the left hand, let's see. 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1.
Now, do you switch any of these?
Not here,
Okay.
but it's not a bad idea.
Okay.
Some places I do, not here though.
Okay.
So, it's really easy. Try both hands slow. 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1 on the left hand.
4.
Yeah, I see. The fingerings I have there are designed to have as little thumb crossing as possible, largest units possible, so that you can just get this kind of sweep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When you get used to it. All right, let's go on. Be careful though. Now, I realize it may be struggling with notes and fingerings, but remember we talked about this last time. If you want to retain E flat.
Right.
You
That's
understand,
yeah.
you
It
understand.
wasn't fingering. It
Now,
was.
the very first right hand
Mhm.
you're playing there. What fingerings are using the right hand? Bravo. Okay.
That's
Lose that thread.
Right,
It's,
yeah,
it's
you
a
bet.
very, very tenuous What are you doing here?
I had 3, 4, 3, 4. That's what I was using.
If you like that, it's okay, but I would do 2, 4, 1, 5, 2, 4, 1, 5 instead of 2, 3, 1, 4. It's the same idea though. Try it this way and see if it's better.
Yes, yes. Definitely,
Seems
definitely.
easier to me.
Definitely.
What about the left hand? No, I think I do realize why I'm putting it the other way. Tell me why I'm doing this instead. I wouldn't insist on it. I think the left hand can put whatever you like.
Right, but does it get this out of the way of your right hand? Is that why?
That's part of it. First of all, symmetrical. White, black, white, white, black, white. Secondly, where the right hand, you have a 3-note unit. And switch over, it just seems to work a little more in tandem with the right hand.
Oh yeah.
But I wouldn't be terribly
Right.
wrestling you to the ground
Okay.
to put something else left.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. It's mostly that right hand. Mick Cooley's fingering is a little bit funky over here, even for somebody with a big hand like me. Why that rather than like 4 or 5 sitting right under your.
Right.
You
Right.
found it easier?
Well,
Which way is easier?
the 4, 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. I just.
This is the one.
Right.
Which one? How are you doing that?
I was doing what was written here.
Okay.
It's sliding.
Let me see if I can bring you cheat and take just the A and the B flat in the inner voice with the left hand. Just those two. Okay? And so it's going to be 2, 4, 1, 3, left hand. Okay, just that's the only cheating you need. And then the right hand is 1, 1, 4. Let's go on with the right hand. 2, 5. 1, 4, 2, 5. 1, 4, 2, 5.
Yeah.
And left hand, well, I think it's a no-brainer. 2, 1, 3, 2, 1.
Right.
Right?
2, 1, 3.
Yeah, it's
2, 1, 3,
3, 2, 1.
2, 1. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me how this all feels now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that it? About here, let's see. 2, 4, 1, 5, 2, 4, 1, 5, 2, 4, 1, 5, 2, 4.
Wow.
Dial now.
Wow.
Is that simple or what?
Yeah.
Is that what Nicoli had or no?
No.
He has to go mess it up with something
All this
different.
other
Is
stuff.
this, did we already record on the
Yeah.
other side?
Yeah. So that's okay.
That's all we had?
That's
Okay.
it. That's okay. 1, 5.
Isn't that elegantly simple?
3, 1 jumps.
And then left hand, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1.
4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1.
Simple.
Yeah.
The acid test that you figure is, if you could make the switch almost instantaneously, it's probably better.
Yeah.
Look at that, look at that.
Yeah.
It'll still take a little ironing out.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on.
Okay. Pedal.
What's wrong with this?
Well, but the Polonaise wouldn't do that, right?
Well, I mean, does Thurston Dart have something to say about this that I'm not aware of? I don't know.
No. No.
I shouldn't be too sarcastic. I mean, I don't know. Is there something I'm not aware of?
No.
Well, now look at measure 28 for a minute.
Let's see. Major numbers.
Oh, you don't have measure, okay, excuse me.
Okay.
Look here.
Uh-huh.
Interesting, this part.
Right.
Play that for me.
Right.
I mean, when he wants that rhythm, he
He'll
knows
write it,
perfectly
yeah.
well how to write it. Lest you feel terrible, I did exactly the same thing.
Good.
I was your age.
Good.
I got the same thrashing.
Ah.
It's easy to do.
Yeah. It's old.
Can we have this? Very stately and noble, but inside this. Wait a minute. Now, did Nicoli change something there? Am I
No.
missing something?
No. I was thinking about something else.
Slur, but not pedal.
Right.
That should be interesting. You're an organist.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. Is it more important that the top, now look, unless you're a better man than me, I can't slur. Yeah, I almost can, but it's not really trouble. Now, realistically, you can almost
the slur comes out if it's on the top.
Why?
Well, we're first of all we're just accustomed to hearing that. No, we're just accustomed to hearing.
Play an incredibly low note staccato.
It's gonna.
It resonates longer.
Right.
It's a bigger sound wave
Right.
than the upper note.
Right.
All on its own. So if you do only the top one,
Right.
it sounds like both. But if you do only the bottom, I hear a break.
You hear a break.
Aha. So that might just alter your fingering.
Two. Slur. Now
Yeah.
watch.
Before we add right hand, let's just get this left hand. A flat, two notes in the color of the A flat.
Right now.
But last.
Do you want me to pedal all the way through this?
Oh, that's up to you. I don't know. There's something to be said for that too.
Okay.
I mean, it's really up to you, or you can half pedal. Right. What do you think?
Right.
Split the difference.
Right.
See, I keep wondering. I'm dying someday to find out on a play el piano
Uh-huh.
if you pedal through a staccato.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still hear a slight staccato?
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Which brings up an interesting point. What does it mean?
Right.
If pedaling through it, you don't hear it anyway.
Right. Right.
You know.
And but then he does have the stop on the next measure in my music, or the release.
Yeah. That could have been Niccoli's change. Well, you know, I've noticed in a lot of the Polonaises. Now, look in the where's the military? Let's see. There we go. Okay. There we go. Look at this.
Right.
Look how far. I mean, this. I mean, if we take it real literally, and this is assuming that the autograph is very clear and it's exactly what he wants. He's not altogether consistent with how long he goes with that.
Right. Right.
It tends to be just a shade longer than you think it ought to be, though.
Right.
Let's see what he does on the next page. Oh, I see. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, here. It seems to be either to the third beat or to the second half of the second beat.
Right. Right.
Just shy of that third beat. And then Niccoli changed it to just a little shorter here. And then here he does lift up at the end of the second beat.
Mm-hmm.
I think the issue too is the the prolongation of the bass. Brings up an interesting point. I wonder if sostenuto pedals work. I kind of doubt it because you're going to get the wrong notes in the right hand lingering. Can we try it anyway?
Okay.
Let's see. Well, I would half pedal it. Or taper pedal. That's an interesting two-chord pedal. Most people would miss. But I would try it if I were you. Is Niccoli the same way
Yep.
that far?
Yeah.
It does avoid every single chord
Right.
getting a
Right.
pedal.
No pedal here.
but in articulation. Now, I should point out that in this edition, he has a slur through this.
No, I like the grace note on the beat, and I
like it too.
Yeah.
Unless I like it, well. Dum ba ba bum 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 ba ba bum bum ba ba bum 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 bum. Yeah, I might be wrong after all. Well, you understand my point?
Yeah, right.
Because you don't get you don't get it absolutely dead giveaway, telltale, classic, stereotypical textbook, until here. Let's just say da ba ba bum bum is still kind of an undercurrent here. But don't do it so much, you see, any more than I would do.
Right.
That it becomes literally a double dot.
Right.
It's more of that Polish
Right.
distortion.
Right.
Because it's in the pedal anyway. That way you really hear the clarity of the grace. Yeah. Anyway, well that's real interesting. Da 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 do 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 do. It's also going to affect even this a little bit in the time.
Yeah.
I really think that all of these, in order to retain a certain elegance, need to be upper oriented in the voicing rather than bass. You tend to think this sort of sound for everything. I'm not so sure here that you really want to do that. This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would he like to do over here?
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right.
Listen. Play for me once. And maybe I should have done, wait a minute. But in other words, but you see what I'm looking for?
Right.
I'm hearing. Let me hear that. Spell out each one. No. You won't get a line. Then the same thing but a little less. You understand why? Because if
Right.
you do, even with this sostenuto,
Right.
yeah, so the sostenuto. And maybe I should be doing that, but anyway. Not that it's that evident either
I
way.
was wondering,
Yes.
what would you think? Maybe not so much on this one. I like it on this in sostenuto for the chord.
Ooh, neat idea. You know, Mikuli has that. It's interesting. They're absolutely dry.
Yeah.
And here, in the Henley edition, it's pedal. Of course, I don't do full pedal.
Right. Well, and I think it sounds nice to maybe start with little pedal and then add more as you get to top to crescendo.
Very good, yeah.
So.
And what was the question?
Oh no, just the sostenuto on the chord.
Oh, yeah, well, try it. Let me hear how that sounds.
Okay. Now if I can get my run right, but
That would be an interesting
Yeah.
way. What's wrong with that?
no line.
Yeah, but why? Wait a minute, now why? What's the problem exactly? Let's be more focused than just saying there's no line.
I'm not okay. What I'm doing is I'm accenting the held notes and not giving enough emphasis to the da da da.
Yeah. All right, now let's do a little game. Let's pretend that all the 30 seconds have an accent.
More line.
Not that you'd want to do that.
Yeah, but it has more line than the other way
Just
even.
as therapy. Now, let's iron it out.
No.
put there? With what at the top?
4, 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Much more tone, yeah, and security.
Oh yeah, 1.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And when you play your, now listen, when you play your 30 seconds, make sure you point it a little bit more this way. Sorry, this is all on the road to
It's okay.
sostenuto pedal. Anyway.
No, that's okay. And oh yeah, I was right. I was gonna add
No, you were way ahead, unless we were counting different. Do it again.
Okay. Because I gotta get that line otherwise. No.
Now, keep in mind, before we forget, finish. It's all one big upbeat with the slurring. So. Wait, where's 1? Oh, 1. I thought so. Because you did it the other way, and you said, right.
Oh.
No, I don't think so.
No, of course not. Hey.
1. Either your tempo has to be faster,
Okay.
or your run has to be slower. You won't have that problem on the other ones, because the
Right.
run goes an extra octave.
Goes an extra octave, and that's where I was doing that. That's where I. No, but I still am not supposed to on a 1.
Still go too fast.
I'm still going too fast.
Go much slower at the beginning part of it.
And then,
So, because at that point, it's such a blur anyway,
right,
especially if you do some pedal or whatever.
Right.
And then you can snap up towards, because it's going to sound
right.
very terrible if you're doing it on that. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So bubble out of the goo here. If anything, I use less pedal with the goo.
Right. You know, I'm wondering if in my practicing I learned it wrong.
What wrong?
No, I mean I kept on cheating that measure a half a beat.
Oh, well. Not the worst thing in the world.
No, I know, but it's still, I just.
Well, the only reason I'm a little insistent on that is the fact that he keeps it in a bar line,
Oh,
in
definitely.
a measure, and
Definitely.
so I think it should retain
Definitely.
some semblance of time there, not just be dashed off in
Yeah.
the old rhythm. You know.
Yeah, no, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
How do you do this measure? I bet it's a little different with Nicolay. What is it? Oh, what do you do when you get here? That's a wicked spot. Since we're gonna use pedal, let's not be that heroic.
Okay.
All right, so let me make a suggestion there. You're gonna get tongue-tied, tongue-twisted there, so to speak. Jump. 2, 3, 2. And then jump to 5. Now this one I like 3, 4, 3. 3, 4, 3, 5, 4.
I can do
And
that.
I'm not, by the way, I'm not knocking my brains out to slur it with my fingers, because I want them to get heard. Oh, no, I don't do that. I do 3, 5, 3. That's more the kind of fingering Chopin would use.
Right.
terms of the bass. But you don't want that to overpower your right hand on the other hand. So I would do it.
Yeah,
It's neat, you know.
right.
You work that out.
Yeah.
All right, so you got the fingerings there. Let's see. What are you doing? The fingerings here. Yeah, I was afraid of what you're doing forward.
No.
Don't.
No, I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that.
I mean, you have some.
No, I do
Now,
sostenuto
what
on
are
those
you
too.
pedaling there? Let's see. If you do this exactly his pedals are neat.
Right.
Try it. It's hard though.
Well, and what I've also been doing is
Yeah.
sostenuto on the C.
Ooh, cool. I didn't think of that. Okay, but you still do his
Right,
pedal.
right.
Okay.
Maybe I couldn't do the
Now, wait a minute,
sostenuto.
wait a minute, wait a minute. Now you bring up an interesting point. The left hand can't connect it anyway. You know, can you hear the fact that I'm not slurring this when I get there? Can you tell? Right here I do, you know, interlocking, 1 and 1, 2, 3, 2, 5. Right. But here, well, I mean, if you want to do it, it's very heroic, but I do 1, 1.
It's not, for me, it's not a hard reach.
I'm more concerned about getting a pop. Well, all right, you do it if you want to. Well, pull a tendon. It would pull a tendon for me.
Right, right, right.
Well, anyway, okay, I'm all kinds of awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. All right, let's hear a little bit of this part.
Pedaling.
Won't be too religious on that. Maybe a taper release. What do you think? Tapered release. It's arguable that that bass would have tapered anyway on his pedal. But you know, more to the point is just that the bass, although he wants it prolonged and it's nice and deep and rich and all that, wouldn't be quite so incredibly wongy,
Right.
or woofy, you know,
Right.
on the I don't know.
Right.
You still gonna hear that.
Right.
Is that from the upper auxiliary?
Uh-huh.
Okay. How do you finger it?
No.
You got a 2-note slur, right? To here, right?
Uh-huh.
Why do you want the E flat?
Right.
Because it's a delicious dissonance,
Right.
so why not milk the thumb? I was about to say, you can't miss it with that fingering, but you just proved it wrong for the camera. But it is more secure.
Yeah, it
once
is.
you
It
get
is.
used to
Yeah.
Believe us, really. Okay. about here.
Yeah.
I get this trill started with 3/4. Let's see. Whatever you want here. And then I switch to 2/3. 3/4. No, I don't start from the above there. And then I switch. So I do the first trill with 3/4. 3/4, 2/3. Switch immediately. And a potboil probably. And I leave it up to you whether it's. Mine's trilling on 2/4 on the E flat, by the way. 2/4.
Alright.
Jot it down. If you don't like it, throw it out.
Okay.
But you might just like it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And now you're putting what on this chord, by the way? Two, I hope. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
two.
good.
And, oh, you have
No,
5.
What is this?
Well, I think it's because I was using it
All
before.
right, okay. Well, if you give me a squishy halfway between.
Alright. Well,
You know, no, I mean just, you know. But not. That's not quite, that would be like. It's too much. But you make up for it other places.
Right.
So if you move. There's 2-note slurs too.
Right. Uh-huh.
Anyway, okay, well, I think we better call it
Okay.
quits.
I was just gonna say, now, I try not to do this with pedal, the da-da-da-da-da-ba-ba-ba, only because, even though I
Good.
know some people do, but it ruins this part.
I mean, if you put ever so tiny little sprinklets of it
Yeah.
here and there, maybe.
Yeah, right,
But not as a substitute for your technique.
right.
So, and remember to voice it really top rather than bottom.
Yeah.
And even. It's very hard. Sotto voce. I mean, really, cruel word to put at a spot like that. And then talk about an organist at heart. I mean, look at this. With one note overholding all. And what does that say? If he's killing himself to make you play with a slur and that overheld note like that. I mean, if he's doing that kind of thing, doesn't that just bolster what you just said? Not the
Exactly.
pedal?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. Well, okay,
Okay.
it's coming along.
Okay. I'll have more on that too next time.
Bravo.
Great. All right.
Just to get the intro is quite an achievement.
Yeah,
Now, I think those fingerings will make a difference.
that will.
Because you're struggling with it right now. You just want a sense of dumb water.
Yeah.
You know, just
Yeah.
a piece
And
of bread.
I've changed fingerings so many times on that, and this will help.
Well,
This'll
it
help.
took me a long time to get to those fingers.
Yes. Yeah.
So don't feel bad. I didn't just,
Yeah. Yeah.
stumble on them.
Yeah.
I tried everything at least once and right. Thanks.
You bet. Thank you.
In California.
You're in California.
Yeah, because, oh,